Hello, travelers, and welcome to another edition of the Pro Wrestling Journey. Today's journey, get yourself comfortable because we're going to be taking a flight over to the great state of Texas. And everybody knows the stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas. And trust me when I tell you this, there are plenty of stars on the rise in the exciting new wrestling promotion, Parlay Pro Wrestling. So I would like to introduce you today to none other than the chairman himself, Mr. Kyle Hessler. How are you, sir?
Hello, sir.
Hello. How are you, Kyle?
Well, good this time. So hopefully we can actually do this interview.
Yes, hopefully. Hopefully we can get there. I want to speak about Pushing Limits, which is going to be this Saturday, June 19th. That is going to be a big day for yourself, Kyle. Where can the travelers watch this amazing event?
Yeah. So for our friends across the pond and worldwide, it'll be streaming on Fight TV. So if you just go to Fight TV and look up the wrestling section, they'll have a whole calendar that has all the events for this weekend, and just click Pele Pro, Pushing Limits. We're also going to be on Title Match Wrestling if you do have a subscription to them. So, kind of the difference is Fight is not a subscription based, Title Match is. So if you have Title Match, we're also going to be on that as well. And then, of course, if you live anywhere near Texas, come on out. Watching, we've all been waiting for live wrestling to come back. So I think we're going to have a really good turnout for a Texas crowd. I think we might have like 200, 250, something like that. So that would obviously be great. I'd be super happy with that. But if you live anywhere near the area, best way to see it is just come to it.
Oh, that is awesome. What is the experience like live in the arena when you're watching the action? So I understand there's going to be some great music there as well.
Well, we're going to have a good DJ. We changed it up a little bit. We were originally thinking about having a band. But it just got a little complicated. That might be something we try again down the road. But we're definitely gonna have a DJ mixing it up all night long. So he's really talented. So that'll be going on, as well as the entrance music and stuff like that. As far as what it's gonna be like at the venue, I think it's gonna be really energetic, really fun. I'm trying to encourage our fans to bring signs and just be real lively. So I've actually printed off I've got some surprises that I think when people watch it when they watch it, it's going to look like, wow, that looks like a lot of fun. I wish I would have gone, or all that. So I'm a big fan of 90s wrestling, so I would always love to see people start bringing signs again to shows. You see it on occasion, but I'd like it if we had a whole row of people with stuff. So I've got some stuff in mind to kind of help with that. And I think it's just going to add to the atmosphere. I think it's going to be a real hot crowd, and it's just going to be a good time. So,
yeah, I did see there was one super fan. I read through the blogs and I seen there was a super fan that was getting real into the action and cheering everyone. It was every match. He was super enthusiastic. That's what we like to see, and I hope he comes back.
Oh yeah, I'm, the way I kind of like to sell my show is, I like to bring in Impact guys, MLW guys, Ring of Honor guys, AEW, whoever I can. But I like hitting different markets and getting different fans of different organizations, especially if it's a guy that you can't see often. So like Jeff Cobb, I was the last person to book Jeff Cobb last year, and he actually didn't end up working wrestling. We had to make some changes last minute. But, Jeff Cobb doesn't get booked in Texas much. So if you're a New Japan fan living in Texas, this might be your only opportunity to see him for a long time. But beyond that, I like presenting my show to a lot of – I think I have a surprising amount of non-wrestling fans at our show. And I think that contributes to a lot of genuine surprises. They're not idiots. They know what's going on. It's pro wrestling, but it helps that kind of know when to boo and when to cheer for somebody, regardless of, smart marquee fans sometimes. And I'm not criticizing anybody. I mean, come to my show and do what you please. But I'm saying, like, there's definitely times where, there's somebody I want to be a heel, and it's like, oh, they're working, the crowd's just loving them because they're happy to see them. Myron Reed's a great example. Myron Reed, when I brought him in, people were just happy to see him. So even though he's, people wanted it, I wanted him to get booed. He was getting some heat, some pops, and that's okay. That you pay your ticket. I don't care.
Yes, it.
But I really appreciate when we have a lot of non-wrestling fans there, because they just get into the action just kind of unblemished. Like, they're just kind of, I'll cheer and boo who seems like the bad guy. And so sometimes it makes it a little bit more fun because, I think it's a more wrestling-like crowd. I'm a big fan of, like, 80s wrestling. So it just kind of reminds me of that to some degree.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I'm going to ask you about some of the matches on the card.
Yeah.
I understand Mike Bennet is going to be in action this Saturday.
Sure.
Has he got a match confirmed yet, or is he still scouting the competition?
No. He's got a big matchup with Chandler Hopkins. I've got to sit down with both gentlemen, talk some contract stuff. But if both gentlemen are available for July, then this will be a number one contendership. So I got to make sure that both can take, whoever ends up winning can take the date. But the plan is for this to be the number one contender. And Chandler Hopkins is, I think, superstar written all over him. Great look, great body, great moveset, knows how to work. He's finally getting some recognition on, like, AEW Dark, but he's been on MLW, and I think he's might have been on NWA at one point. And Ring of Honor, that's the other one. He's been on some, so he's been featured as a prospect in a lot of these organizations. And I think every single one of them has missed the boat on him. I think this guy is just fire and dynamic. And so when Mike Bennet wanted to come back to Pele Pro and come back to Texas, I offered him, I said, we'd like to have you work some young guys. How do you feel about a number one contender match with this Chandler Hopkins? He's all about it. So I'm not prone to hyperbole, but I genuinely think this is going to be the show stealer. I don't know if it'll be necessarily the best match. That's somewhat subjective. I think Cobb and Sam will probably be the one most people talk about, but I think Bennet and Chandler will most likely be the, like, heart-stopping, like, oh my gosh, that was crazy match. And that's actually going to start our night. So that'll be the opening match. And that's fantastic. I'm really, really excited about that match.
That is awesome. And you said it's going to be the first match. And how important is the first match on a wrestling card? Because that is the opening match that sets the atmosphere. How important is that match to a card?
It's very important. I mean, all the matches are obviously important. I can't not say that. But to be fair, I would say your first, your second to last, and your last are the most important. They really help set the tone of the evening. So if you have a more slower kind of matchup in any of those spots, sometimes that can kind of kill momentum. If you start with something that's not a bang bang kind of match, then the crowd maybe doesn't get into the card as much. If you have the last two matches, you got to end on a bang. So the main event's obviously got to be stellar. But if your co-main event's a little slow too, then you can run into a problem of kind of killing momentum before the main event. So it's really important putting your card together to kind of think about how you want things to play out and how you want things to show up. I would also say the first match on the card, it's unlike boxing and MMA, where you'll have an undercard where you're featuring prospects or whatever. Like, we've done some dark matches before for sure, but it's different that we only have one dark match, maybe two. But so your first match is really the first exposure to your wrestling brand for the crowd. And so that's another reason it's really important, just because people, when the show's time starts, everyone's in their seat. Whereas like boxing, MMA, sometimes people don't even show up till the co-main event or main event in some cases. So it's real important to have a good first match.
Nah, that's awesome. I did think that, and I recently spoke with someone from ICW, and it was Molly Spartan, and she opened up ICW board. It was a steel cage themed show. She was the first match, and she basically said the same thing, that the first match is real important to the card, because that is what sets the atmosphere for the crowd. And if the first match is a bad one, the crowd's not going to get into it the same for the rest of the card. So it kind of takes the energy out, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's gotta land. So actually, ironically, for this reason, Chandler Hopkins has actually opened every show for me for Pele Pro. He's I don't want to say he's the Shawn Michaels of our organization, but if you know what I mean, that like Shawn Michaels always opened WrestleMania, even though he was one of the second, third most talented guys on the card. That's how I view Chandler Hopkins. I think again, he's not Shawn Michaels. He's just like Shawn Michaels in this regard, that he's a great worker, great talent. And I like using him to expose the audience to this is what the card's going to be about. And he's all about it. He loves that role. I think it's a great role for him. If he wins this matchup, then he might be shifting to a main event kind of role. But for the time being, I think it's a great spot. It shows how much I trust him. And I think when you hear his entrance song, Cowboy by Kid Rock, when you hear that and it pops, you get excited. You know, the man Chandler Hopkins is coming out. So
yeah, and he's got some good mic skills as well, Chandler Hopkins.
Oh, yep, I think so.
Because he's I heard him, he was talking to the crowd, and he got them, the crowd were behind him all the way. I didn't hear anyone booing him. Everyone was getting behind him, and that's what I like to see, because it seems to be kind of a lot harder to be a babyface where the crowd actually gets behind you. And the same token, it's hard to be a heel where the crowd doesn't cheer on you sometimes. So it's good to see that. And he's certainly getting. It was my kind of first seeing him in promo wise, and I was impressed, definitely. So I can't wait to see more from him.
He's very, very good, and I can't put the guy over enough. One of these companies is going to get smart and sign him. You can't have that much talent and go unsigned. So I'll just leave it at that.
No, that's it. I totally understand that. So up until then, you'll just reap the benefits of him.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's doing great things. We've got Mysterious Q versus Travis Titan. This match is going to be hard hitting. This was a match that JP, my co-host, he said that this was one of the matches that had his eye. He was looking forward to this. Can you tell us a little bit more about this for some of the newer listeners?
Yeah. So Mysterious Q makes his way to Pele Pro. He's kind of a staple of Texas wrestling. He's actually the New Texas Pro Wrestling, which is a great organization here. He's their champion. He's been their champion for 470 days. I mean, it's just a crazy long run. Obviously, a lot of that was during COVID, but that's not to take anything away. He was working and defending that title during that time. So he's been an active champion despite the 2020 pandemic. But he's a uber talented guy, big boy. I mean, he's a little bit bigger than I think most people think he is, because he wears a mask and he can do some lucha stuff a little bit. Definitely some high flyer some stuff. But when you see him, he's a big boy. I mean, he's probably 6'2", 6'3", and he's like 240 something like that. I mean, he's a muscle dude, and he can work. He can sell. He's just a great talent. Another guy that's just like what I haven't seen him on Dark yet, or I haven't seen him on anything like that. And again, it's like, what are these people doing? I mean, too much talent. Travis Titan, on the other hand, is the guy that was just on Dark this last week, and he's been on Dark a couple times. So he's a guy from the Midwest, first time working Texas. This kid can go. Very technically sound, very well-rounded competitor, and I think he's a, indie titles. You don't always do number one contenders. You always, there's not really rankings and stuff like that. So I thought I kind of came to Mysterious Q and New Texas Pro about, hey, I'm bringing this guy Travis Titan in. What do you think about him challenging Q for the title? They're all about it. They've seen him before. So again, another guy that it's our show has lots of prospects. I like trying to be part of the talent pool of getting the next wave of guys promoted. And so both these guys are guys that I think can be on TV Monday nights, Friday nights, Wednesday nights, whatever. I mean,
yeah.
So Travis Titan, another guy to keep an eye out for, but Mysterious Q, looking to extend that record title length.
That's going to be a great match. And like you say, there's just so much talent that isn't getting used by the big companies when they should be. And I'm guessing I would say that all the talent they will get eventually, but you're getting the better years. If they're not going to smarten up, you're getting the better years.
Yep.
Out of all these talent, you've got Fuego del Sol. He's been tearing it up inside AEW, and he's going to be making his return. He's going to be taking on Texas man Jastin Taylor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fuego del Sol, been a staple of AEW now for a little bit. But in Texas, he's really regarded. Texas, Oklahoma area, he's a highly regarded guy, both in the ring and outside the ring. A lot of people just find this guy, myself included, find him utterly professional and just totally the right kind of guy you want at shows. Good with kids and all that. But inside the ring, he is really, really talented. He can do things that some other guys can't. And I love his look. I love what he does. And he can go, man. He can go. But he'll be taking on Jastin Taylor, a guy that, again, another prospect, another guy that's, I think, overlooked. But Jastin's a little bit, not old, but he's older than some of these other guys. Although I think he's maybe the same age as Chandler. Chandler's secretly a little, I think he's 34. Oh. But Jastin's in his 30s too. Another guy, technically sound, real good on the mic. I've seen this guy in West Texas work heel for Squared Circle Pro. He's their champion. And, this is another guy. It's just like, what are people doing? get this guy signed. So Jastin Taylor, he's a friend of mine. I love Jastin. And I'm just excited to see him work. Jastin's been, I think, a part of every wrestling show I've ever put on. And so just love the guy to bits. I just think he's just a fantastic worker, fantastic talent. Been in Ring of Honor a couple times. So again, another guy, real good, real talented. They're going to have a really good match right in the middle of the card. So it's going to be it'll be, I think, a bang bang kind of match.
Awesome. That is what you need. We've got Reality of Wrestling champion Cameron Cole. He's going against Jake something. What style can we expect from this match?
Oh boy. This of all the matches, I'm very curious to see how they work each other and what ends up happening. This is the one. So Cam Cole, I'm glad you asked this in you're asking these in the right order. So I'm gonna say this. To me, Cam Cole is the best prospect nobody's heard of. So he just showed up on Dynamite, so now people are gonna say they've heard of him. Cam Cole is a phenomenal talent. I've seen this guy get booed out of buildings, and I think that takes everyone's a baby face on the indies to some degree, but Cam Cole can get real heat. He's technically excellent, his technical ability is excellent, and he's got a great moveset, great look, and he's just been dominant as the Reality of Wrestling champion. He's really, really good, but he's got Jake Something coming up, and Jake Something is one of my favorite guys I get to kind of work with. I was just around him a couple weeks ago up in Chicago for Warrior Wrestling, and he took on Warhorse, and they just beat the tar out of each other.
Oh.
But Jake is a big boy. He's a big boy that can go hard, and he can fly around. And so, he's on Impact every week. And he's really talented. He deserves that spot. That's I think they should be using him more. But again, Jake something's a TV. He's on TV every week and looks really good, and he's really talented. I think these guys, whether they're chopping each other or lariating each other, whatever it is, this is going to be the most hard-hitting match. I think every other match is going to be really good and good for different reasons. These guys, I think, will beat the tar out of each other. So I'm pretty excited for this one. And hopefully Jake something, I don't want to say who I want to win, but I like the idea of Jake something winning a Texas title, because I would like to see Jake something stay in Texas a lot more. He's a Midwest guy that I just love this guy. So I'd love to, selfishly, I'd like to see him work down here a lot more.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Absolutely. I watched Cam Cole. I watched him take on Mike Bennet.
Yep. And
he seemed to steal a win. He seemed to steal a win from Bennet that night. So he's certainly an interesting champion. And is there a working relationship between Pele Pro and Booker T's promotion, Reality of Wrestling?
Yeah, not officially, not like anything on paper, but much like any other independent promotion, I can reach out to their talent and book them. There's no contracts with them, but I a lot of these guys have titles in other regional spots, but if a title is featured on my show, I think it's something that needs to be featured. And so the Reality of Wrestling Championship, you go through its history, it's got a lot of guys that you would know them by name. So I think it's a title that is worthy of, if we didn't have our own, I'll put it this way, we didn't have our own title, it'd probably be our main event title. Like it would be defended in the main event, but Pele Pro Championship's got to come first. But the Row title is a perfectly great title, and it goes right in the co-main event on Saturday night.
Absolutely awesome. And we've got Sam Adonis. He went through hell to capture the championship.
Yep.
Is there a legitimate claim that you're trying to stack the deck on him? Because I've caught his promo, and he was saying everywhere he goes, he becomes the man. He takes the championship, and the promoter's trying to get it away from him. Is there a legitimate claim? Because he's taking on Jeff freaking Cobb. Come on.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard work.
Sam's a funny guy. So, he likes being champion. He likes the accolades that come with that. He likes the rewards that come with that. But he doesn't like the challenges that comes with that. Conversely, this is also a guy that doesn't back down from a challenge. And so when we're talking about who to book for him, he can get mad about it. He's gotten mad about every single opponent we've told him. He got mad that he was facing Nobi Bryan in the finals. He got mad that he was facing Madman Fulton. He got mad. Well, actually, Madman, he's his buddy, but he was mad about it. He was mad that he went against Beastman in Utah. He's mad against going to Psycho Clown. All these guys he gets mad about. But yet, he gets better every single time. Every single time he gets better. And so, what do you do? It's my championship. And until we have a hierarchy of contenders stacked up, I'm going to bring in the talent. And Jeff Cobb is somebody that I've been around a couple different times. How can you not? I've seen this guy work Madison Square Garden. I've seen this guy work Japan. And he's available. Why would I not take the opportunity to get Jeff freaking Cobb to challenge for my title? And if Jeff Cobb wins it, I'm over the moon. That's an international superstar. But if Sam can hold stuff together and retain his championship, and walk away with his title in his hands come Saturday night, it just makes Sam more valuable, which makes the Palais Pro title more valuable, which makes Palais Pro more valuable. And so he can get mad, but that's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah. He's always happy. He's been happy at the end every time so far when he's been saying, now I can add that to my resume.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
So I understand where you're coming from. It's not, it can't be easy trying to keep all the talent happy at one time, especially the top champion.
Yep.
You're pretty demanding sometimes. So, all in all, we're going to have some great music. We're going to have some great matches. When is the next event going to be after Pushing Limits?
July 24th. We're calling it State of Emergency. We've got quite a bit of good talent coming in. So right now we've got Sam Adonis coming back. We've got Beastman Huss coming in. He's a former Palais Pro competitor. We've also got Gina Maidana will also be on the card returning. We'll also have Richard Holiday of MLW making his Texas debut. Awesome. And then we're in negotiations with Madman Fulton. Hopefully that can still happen. Madman's a good friend. So hopefully he can still make it. And then the other one that I think a few people saw the poster, I kind of wanted to surprise them, but I'll just say it now. It's no big deal. We're going to have Josh Alexander, not the Seinfeld character, Jason Alexander. Josh Alexander, reigning X Division champion, will be on Palais Pro July 24th. So it's going to be an excellent card. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to drop the poster and the video. You guys are going to really like the video. It's pretty cool. So shout out to my guy, Greg Tegg, for making that. But July 4th, right back in Arlington, Texas.
Brilliant. That is what I like to hear. Where can the Pro Wrestling Journey travelers, where can we find you on social media?
Yep. I'm on Facebook, Kyle Hessler. It's a great way to follow. Palais Pro is also on there. PALEPRO, wrestling. On Twitter, which is probably where I'm most active. It's PALEPRO wrestling with no G. So wrestling, essentially. And that's a great place to stay up to date with upcoming matchups and new cards and all that stuff and promotion. So that's a great place to follow us.
Awesome. And also there's a website, is there?
Yeah, palepro.com. Thank you. That's where you can get tickets as well.
Awesome. Well, there you have it, travelers. It's been awesome speaking to you today, Kyle, and learned quite a little bit about the promotion, and looking forward to the Saturday for Pushing Limits. Thank you very
awesome. much. No, thank you. Thank you for the exposure. We all the people in independent wrestling appreciate it. So.
Oh no, that is what we are all about. We're trying to shine a light. You're putting on some great shows there in the Texas area, and hopefully one day we're going to be able to come over for a WrestleMania weekend.
Yep.
Hopefully there'll be a big show on at that point.
Smart man. Yes, we'll definitely have some stuff going on WrestleMania. So keep us in mind when you guys come around. And before July 24th, I'd love to come back on. So just let me know when's a good time.
Yeah, definitely. No problem at all.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for your time.